So I just left the victorious visiting locker room here in Washington. 49ers 27-10 over the Commanders. Just as they won, Philadelphia lost at home to the Arizona Cardinals, which means the 49ers have locked up the number one seed in the NFC. Get a hold of this scene in the 49ers locker room. You should see the visiting locker rooms in this place. It is definitely not the nicest stadium in the NFL, and the visiting locker room is a crowded spot. They've got offense in one half of the room, defense in the other half of the room. You could barely fit in there when all the guys are in there, but the 49ers came in when Philadelphia and Arizona were in crunch time, and they all huddled around one TV. Brock Purdy said that he had dreamt of such a moment when he was a kid, being able to watch the end of a clinching game with your teammates. A game happening elsewhere, obviously up the Atlantic coast here in Philadelphia. 49ers were huddled around that one TV, and then everybody went crazy when the Hail Mary from Jalen Hurts fell incomplete. I think it's important to take a look at the big picture here. It's December 31st, so Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. But to start this month of December, the 49ers were on the East Coast. They went into Philly, and they blew the Eagles out. At the time, the Eagles were the number one seed. They had that positioning in the NFC. At the time, the Eagles were winning close game after close game. They had that close win aura about them, right? Everybody was saying, oh, Jalen Hurts is so clutch. They're not going to lose close games. The 49ers blew the brakes off of Philadelphia, and the Eagles have not been the same since. And the 49ers capitalized on the resulting opening, lost only the game to the Ravens, won everything else, and surged to clinch that number one seed with a week still left in the regular season. We'll have to sort out what the potential implications for the Rams next week are, but the 49ers may have a chance to play spoiler of some sort against the Rams next week, so we'll see what exactly happens there. But the main point is the 49ers now get to rest both next week and the week after that, as much rest as you can have in a sport that requires you to field a 53-man roster, right? So next week, some of the starters obviously will have to play, but they won't have to play in the wild card round. And that's the main benefit of this number one seed. In 2019, the 49ers had it. They got the rest. They were fresh after the marathon of the season, and they got to play at home, obviously, at Levi Stadium, and they rolled through the playoffs. They were not challenged by the Vikings. They were not challenged by the Green Bay Packers, and then they made it to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, where they finally lost. In 2021 and 2022, the 49ers had to take the hard path. That meant wild card round. That meant no bye week after the end of the regular season. 21 was harder than 22 because it was all road games. But in both seasons, the 49ers ran out of gas. They lost in the NFC Championship. So to have the freshness advantage heading into this January is massive for the 49ers, because I think that they're the most talented roster in the NFL. I think that's actually relatively clear. And if you give the most talented roster in the league extra rest versus its competition, well, I think you know what the result is going to be. The 49ers have already proven themselves to be the class of the NFC. Nobody has come close to them in the conference. So the path is wide open for them to punch the ticket back to the Super Bowl, where they might play the Baltimore Ravens, who dominated the Miami Dolphins today. So huge win for the 49ers, and they got helped out by the Cardinals. Again, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys earlier this year. The Arizona Cardinals now turn around, win on the road in Philadelphia. It just turns out the Eagles aren't that good, right? And we knew this. We've known this for a while. The defense is shoddy. They won a lot of close games, but that doesn't last forever, especially once you get blown out and a lot of that aura disappears. But 49ers locker room was very, very happy about the extra rest that they're going to get. Christian McCaffrey said that he needs it. Had a little bit of we're not sure if it's a calf strain, but a calf injury. He says that he wasn't really able to plant and push off at 100% capacity. So now McCaffrey can take next week off. He can take the week after that off, and he could be fully healthy entering the divisional round of the postseason. The 49ers also saw Brock Purdy break a record today, the franchise record. He entered this game at number 3 on the 49ers all-time list for single-season passing yards, behind Steve Young in 1998 and Jeff Garcia in 2000. Well, Brock Purdy, with today's very efficient performance, is now at the top. More yards in a single season than Joe Montana, more yards in a single season than Jimmy Garoppolo, who was number 5 on the list with his 2019 performance. It was 3,900 yards. More than Steve Young, more than Jeff Garcia. Brock Purdy is number 1. That is, the 49ers have a storied history of quarterbacking And for Brock Purdy to do that in his first full season starting, is at 4,180 yards right now, is nothing short of sensational. And he was nothing short of sensational today. Only a handful of incompletions. I don't think he made a single big mistake in this football game. He pointed Brandon Ayuk open twice in off-schedule play. You know, we talk about Kyle Shanahan wanting to find his ultimate quarterback that could carve defenses up from the pocket, but could also run around and extend plays if needed. He has that in Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey doubled down again after this game, and he said Brock Purdy's the MVP of this league. Who knows how that voting is going to go? The 49ers really don't care. You hear them talking in the locker room about the fact that they've got so many different guys who help each other out. And that is the beauty of a team. That's the beauty of a star-stocked team. And that's what San Francisco has, and that's what San Francisco is going to attack the postseason with. That star-studded team includes a really good defense. There was some completely ridiculous panicking on the internet. I mean, stupid me for thinking the internet wouldn't panic, right? That's definitely not something new, but people were complaining about the 49ers defense today. They gave up only 60 rushing yards. They gave up only 10 points, and they had 2 takeaways a week after not notching any takeaways against the Baltimore Ravens. But first, it was Charvarius Ward. That was a massive pick. That was actually on this end zone right behind me. At Charvarius Ward with Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders driving. The 49ers were able to notch the interception with Charvarius Ward to stop that drive, effectively seal the game. After that, Brock Purdy threw the off-schedule touchdown pass to Brandon Ayuk to make it 27-10. But at the time, it was 20-10. The Commanders were in scoring range. Charvarius Ward picked the ball off. He actually said after the game, Steve Wilks the defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks, did a really good job of making zone coverage look like man coverage. So the coverage disguises today were on point. We've seen this 49ers secondary really blossom over the course of the season. I think what Steve Wilks was supposed to bring in from the outside is really taking hold now at just the right time. So Ward notched the pick. 49ers really believe he's going to be an all-pro. I think the resume is there with 5 interceptions. He leads the league in pass breakups. Charvarius Ward talked to the media for a long time after. That was a big-time play. He's made so many of them this year. And boy, you can't say enough about how this secondary has progressed. Diamado Lenore got beaten by Terry McLaurin earlier in the game on the only touchdown drive of the game for Washington, but he turned around and he notched an interception to essentially seal it when it was 27-10. So defense, really good performance. Giving up only 10 points is significant in the NFL. That's the mark of a very strong game. Offense, well, scoring 27 and winning by 3 possessions, that's the most that you can ask for in this league. The 49ers have been dominant in all of their wins this year, and they're now 12-4. They have the 1 seed locked up. Who cares what happens next week? This has been a really, really damn good 49ers team. And Baltimore, rematch or not, that's not something to worry about right now, right? The 49ers have the 1 seed. They've got to get back to the Super Bowl. We'll see if Baltimore comes out of the AFC side of the bracket or whoever it is. But the 49ers are definitely gunning for that February trip to Las Vegas. This is a road trip, a true road trip for the 49ers. But as we see here, as we take a look at the field in Washington, we can say that it was the last true road trip of the 49ers season, because if they do go to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, well, that's going to be a neutral site game. That'll be the damn Super Bowl. This, though, the 49ers, after traveling over 29,000 miles this year, they've got 1 flight left to get back to the Bay Area on New Year's Eve, and that's it. They traveled the second most out of any team in the NFL this year, behind only Seattle, and the 49ers have conquered that schedule to attain the NFC's number 1 seed. That's the takeaway today from Washington. I, meanwhile, have to go in and write. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you enjoyed 2023. We will talk to you again, maybe one more time in 2023, but we'll definitely talk to you in 2024 when the 49ers will hold the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs to begin the year.